Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video we're going to be doing a short recap on the latest letter from the producer live. It was featured at the 14-hour special broadcast, and they told us there wasn't really going to be a whole lot of information in this one. They said that, and then surprised us immediately with a benchmark trailer. I was not ready for that. I'm going to be doing separate videos on the benchmark, both on an analysis of what actually takes place in it, and I'm probably going to upload my initial reactions to it as well. For the sake of what the translation of everything we're going through here, the translations, it's going to start mostly with benchmark screenshots here. And our translations, by the way, are provided by Discord as per usual. The Final Fantasy XIV Reddit Discord does unofficial translations. Illuminori posting the actual screenshots, and Miyuna doing the translations themselves. So that's all these. We're going to go over these in more detail, so I'm not going to stop to talk about them. But that was a huge surprise. We just weren't expecting it. We got to see a bunch of new abilities there. Some jobs it felt like maybe we saw more than one. Male Vieira was in the benchmark trailer as well. And the benchmark itself is actually going to be available way sooner than I thought it was going to be. Don't mind Foxconn. This is what he's wearing for the 14-hour. He can't wear that for the whole thing. I refuse it. I won't let it happen. Okay. So I'm going to scroll down past that. The official benchmark will actually be available July 11th, right as it hits midnight. So when it's ticking over from the 10th to the 11th, the official benchmark will be available. So the point of a benchmark is to test to see how well your PC can run the game. It basically stress tests it. So it's only available for PC. It's not available for console because they don't need to stress test. But there's a character creator. The character creator will feature male Vieira. You can make your male Vieira and then save the character data and then transfer it to the main game when it actually releases in November. So it not only doubles as testing your PC, but also as a character creator for male people who are going to be making male Vieiras. Other than that, not much else to say. Again, we're going to be covering it entirely in a separate video, but man, it is dope. Now, the reason why I don't think this recap will be too long is because most of the things they spoke about from there, we already know. They told us in the official Lodestone announcements that there wouldn't really be a whole lot of information in this live letter. So it starts off with just recapping, new story stuff, the end of the Heidelin and Zodiac story arc, more cutscenes, more voice scenes than any expansion we've ever done before. In fact, 30% more was the exact number that we were given. They said that Old Charlian will be equivalent to the Crystarium, and Rad's at Hand will be the equivalent of Yulmore. We got massive new areas, all the areas they showed at the Fan Fest and whatnot. People asking if Garlemald's going to get restored. Who knows? There's going to be story on why Alphino is a sage. Speaking of which, the two new jobs. Alphino being a sage and Xenos being a reaper. They specifically make mention to a benchmark ability that we see, which is likely their Limit Break 3. They mentioned the new 8-man raids, Pandemonium. Now, one detail that is actually very important that they did confirm is that, so people have been wondering, with Endwalker releasing in November, normal mode normally releases 2 weeks later, and then Savage another 2 weeks later, which will put Savage, if I don't have my calendar open, but I believe on December 21st. So Christmas raids, for anyone planning on doing any hardcore prog, they confirmed they will be doing that. So the normal schedule will be in place, so put your family to the side, you got a raid. That's all they want to say. So that's a good confirmation to have because people were wondering if that was going to be different. We know the 24-man series, Myth of the Realm, the new Beast Tribes, the new Trials that we're going to be getting. On top of that, they showed off... Oh, this was a pretty big thing. They showed off all of the artifact armor for the various shops. Paladin, we've been seeing in all the trailers, so that's nothing new. Warrior... That axe. I mean, honestly, so that's our Hrothgar with a helmet, first of all. Second of all, that axe. That axe is so spicy. I love that. That is insanely good. Dark Knight armor set, looking pretty solid. The sword's okay. I mean, I don't think anything compares to that axe. That axe is... I don't even main warrior, and that is still... I could just look at that. Gunbreaker armor's kind of weird. It's not really a good angle on the weapon either. But I like the kind of... It's almost like a Commodore coat, I suppose, for them. Looks all right. Monk set, got the Scouter. What is the power level? What does the Scouter say about his power level? Well, his DPS is over 9,000. And I'd hope so, because that's not actually that high of a number right now. Maybe after the stat squish, though. Dragoon, very Kane-y. The Spear, fantastic. That is up there with the Axe for me, and I'm not even a Dragoon fan either. Ninja... shades of edge, but not really. The katanas look pretty good, but the rest of the set, I'm kind of mixed on it, in all reality. This gives me Orin vibes, which is, to be fair, Orin Samurai, it's the designs are similar. Not all the way, but this is a pretty good set overall for Samurai. Now, this doesn't hype me up, but... And, of course, they had the highlight super emo goth Samurai here in another screenshot. Great. Love this Bard set. Like the bow, like the set. The hat's okay, but the Amon hat is always the best. So, big fan of that set, though, for Bard. Machinist, I'm okay with it. It's very Machinist-y. The Queen, ignore the Queen. That's just for artwork. It looks good, though. You know, I'm not as hype about it, but I like the way it looks. The Dancer set, I don't like this at all. The weapons are... So, those remind me of Final Fantasy XI Twashtars, ironically enough, which was a Dancer weapon in Final Fantasy XI. It's a dagger, though, not a throwing weapon. So, these are throwing knives, so I guess it kind of makes sense. I'm not a huge fan of this set. It kind of reminds me of, like, almost like a Dancer version of Tara Branford's outfit. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of where it's at in my head. And it just... I don't think it looks that good. It just... I'm not a fan. Black Mage outfit. We knew that what this looked like already. It looks like a Black Mage outfit. The staff is really good, though. I really like the way the staff looks. Summoner outfit. Looks cool, I suppose. Don't mind the Phoenix. Just chilling in the back. I like the look. We got butt wings. People wanted butt wings. More butt wings. You got butt wings right there. The Red Mage. I'm sorry. First of all, it just looks like a classic Red Mage outfit. Second of all, I can't help it. He's like, look at this egg. Look at the egg that I found. Sir, what would you like me to do with this egg? This White Mage set, top tier. That's it. That's all that needs to be said. That's a top tier White Mage set right there. Okay. Scholar, kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy XI Scholar. Also, the coat not so much, but the color scheme and the hat kind of do it for me. And there's also a fairy in that picture. And then, of course, you know, the Astro doing their best Urian J impression with just copying JoJo poses, I suppose. Weapon looks really good. I didn't actually look at that earlier, but solid looking Astro set, of course. And we already know what Sage and Reaper look like. It's in their trailer, so we don't need to talk about that all too much. So then some other stuff, some other details. New PvP mode is going to be in a broadcast at a later date, but more important is housing information. So they're actually going to be developing a lottery system for housing where you essentially put your name in a hat, and if they pull your name, bam, you get to pick a house. So, but the big thing is they're actually going to be splitting it. Some wards are going to be first come, first serve. Other wards are going to be lottery wards, so you get to pick which one you're trying to get a house in. So all the houses in one ward are lottery, all the houses in another ward are first come, first serve. So as long as you meet all the requirements, you can choose which way you want to try to get a house. People are still going to be upset, and they should be, because it's been years and people have been waiting for a more solid answer. But this is going to take the frustration out of clicking the confirm button for 30 hours straight. So I guess that's one thing. They're also going to be splitting wards in other ways. There's going to be solo wards and FC only wards, but they didn't say. I'm going to assume that's. I don't know if that's for both the first come first serve wards and the lottery wards, or if that's just like lottery wards. You can choose which ones you want to look for. It's not really made abundantly clear. I assume that's only referring to the lottery wards that would be split. And you also have to put the gil in advance. You have to prove that you have the money to purchase the house before you can even be put in for the lottery system. Otherwise, it would give you like a day and then it would skip over you, because that's the only other way it would really happen. They also confirmed something that was a genuine surprise to me. Data center travel will be limited to regions first. So the infrastructure for our game doesn't naturally require that they do anything like that. It realistically shouldn't be a restriction that's there. However, what I'm assuming is this is very much about the security of the data that is being transferred, because when you have to transfer it to physical servers that are in another location, and it's a system that's quickly accessible within the game itself, that runs a huge risk. I'd assume that this is the reason why they're trying to do region first, but it's also only at first. Eventually, we'll be able to go to any data center with any character. So, at the very least, maybe you have an alt on another data center, or on another data center in another region, if you're someone who likes to play with groups across seas, but it will eventually be completely unlocked overall. So then going on to the next bits, this is all stuff we already know. They went over the stat squish stuff again. I mean, this this is for people who don't understand how it works. If you already understand how it works, then all of this information is pointless. Are we getting weaker? No, everything's being adjusted. You know, they're not just going to nerf us and keep everything at the same difficulty. The game wouldn't function like that. You know, will undersizing be more difficult? And they said it might have some effect, but they're actually going to buff certain things to make sure that that's not a problem. Maybe it means automatic 5% echo on unsynced or something. Who knows? And they give some examples here, like if you're item level 500 and you're fighting something that's designed against item level 500, after the squish, it will feel exactly the same. But if you're at a higher item level, you might notice the difference because your power difference isn't as high. So that's the specific thing, is the power difference between item level. This is, again, they've explained this before, but the new information is that we didn't know they were actually going to have a small buff to compensate for this. So in reality, it probably won't feel any different just because they're making a deliberate change for that in itself. Honestly, at level 90, probably wouldn't have felt that different anyway. At 80, they said specifically, it probably would have felt a lot different. That is information from before. And then they're going to have to repeat this process, honestly, based on the exact numbers they gave, which here they say that, like, for example, if you were doing 100,000 before, you'll probably be doing about 20,000. This is in line with something they said before, where they said it was like 50,000 would be about 10,000. So the numbers still line up from their previous accounts of about what the percentage nerf would be to the actual numbers that we see. And that means probably they have to do this again in 2 expansions, like after 7.0, like going into 8.0, they'd have to do this again. So I'd assume that that's what the eventual cycle will be. Every other expansion will probably be a stat squish of some kind. Then they reminded everyone belts are being removed. This is all information we knew already. You know, no longer equipable, no longer obtainable, no crafting recipes. And the ones you currently have will remain there. You can buy them from Calamity Salvagers if for some reason you want to be nostalgic about them. But they'll all be sent to the Calamity Salvager at default. All the currently equipped ones, armory chest ones, and ones equipped by retainers. Any other ones will just be left wherever they are. Even the material will remain fixed if you want to get the materia out of them, which is probably one of your best reasons for grabbing them from the Calamity Salvager. They can still be sold, desynthesized. They can remove affixed materia, but you can't extract materia on them anymore. They also reminded everyone that because belts are being removed, the ring and weapon slots are being enhanced. That's what the new ring slots look like. Nice. 15 extra slots to weapons, 15 extra slots for rings, and then they're saving the remaining 5 slots for a rainy day. After that, they went into the schedule that they're going to be having for the next about 6 months. So we have Make It Rain, Monday, July 19th. That's going to be massively increasing the amount of MGP you can obtain from any gold saucer-related events. Great for triple triad collectors, for anyone who's looking to get any of the mounts. Make sure you follow Kyoko Star for any fashion report related stuff to get all of that done. On top of things like the Chocobo challenges, the challenge log, the daily, all that stuff is going to get buffed. So great thing to participate in. Death Unto Dawn, this is 5.58, and this is going to have a few miscellaneous updates. Diamond Weapon, for example, should be purchasable with totems, and it should also be fully buffed. We might see some other resistance weapon nerfs potentially, but most importantly, the Feast Season 20 is beginning. Any rewards involved with that? We are not going to have another Feast Season probably for a while. We know in 6.0 with the new PvP modes, we will not have a Feast Season at the start of the expansion. So curious to see what they decide to do for this 20th Feast Season. We're going to have the Moonfire Fair on Friday, August 13th. The Rising is Friday, August 27th. That's the anniversary event for the game. The 15 event will be returning on September 13th. There's also even going to be a seasonal event replay feature being added, where you can choose to completely replay the seasonal event just to experience it again. This was a huge request when the 15 event came by the first time, and so they're doing it for the second time. They did confirm, however, that everything other than the rewards resets, so you'll lose access to like any post-completion vendors until you recomplete it and stuff like that. So remember that you can't like reset it and forget and then have to go buy something last minute. That won't work because you'd have to finish it again. Media Tour, mid-September 2021. This actually coincides with an announcement that they did later, but they're actually confirming it will be a remote Media Tour. And that is particularly interesting because whenever you do any sort of remote NDA-related activity, there's generally secure servers that have to be logged into where they have your IP address. They can generally track whatever you're doing on it. And that means that anyone who screws around and drops some tidbits before they're supposed to will probably get figured out pretty quick this time. So it might be a big dissuading factor for anyone looking to try to be the cool guy on the internet like we've had in the previous few media tours. But people always find a way, and some people, quite frankly, don't care. So we'll see how that actually ends up turning out. We also have the next Moogle Treasure Trove event, which is a big thing, specifically because on the 14-hour broadcasts, they're learning Blue Mage spells right now. If they learn all of them, an Inferno jacket gets added to that. And that jacket looks really cool. Take a look at it on the Lodestone. Early access, Friday, November 19th. Full launch, Tuesday, November 23rd. They said they had almost triple the pre-orders than Shadowbringers for Endwalker. That's a lot. That's a lot of pre-orders. And that number ain't done going up, let me tell you. Then they even confirmed some stuff after the expansion comes out. Just seasonal events. All Saints Wake will be a month late. You know, we didn't have it last year, so I guess that's fine. They'll have the Starlight Celebration December 15th, and then they'll have Heavenstern on January 1st, 2022. They had a quick chart just to show all of these things, you know, in order. And on top of that, there's other patches and stuff that they'll probably be doing. Data center travel, they said, would be sometime between September and November. So you got all that. They then just quickly showed the character creator. Again, I'll be going over all of this in a separate video, just showing Male Vieira, a few of its options, the fact that you could save it and Fantasia it for later when we go into Endwalker itself, and a reminder of when it would actually be available. They then brought on Yoko Taro for the second half, and this was a developer interview. I gotta say, most of the time these developer interviews, they're very insightful, but they're very difficult to watch as someone who doesn't natively speak the language. This was kind of the opposite. This one was not very insightful. To no one's surprise, Yoko Taro is largely an enigmatic person when it comes to explaining anything. So he was never going to outright answer certain questions about the story, and he actually says there's no way I'm answering some of these. So that shouldn't be a surprise. But it was a very entertaining interview. Even with the language barrier, this was a very entertaining interview. He even helped us get a little bit of some information about something else towards the end of the interview itself. But yeah, they talk about like the story split that was shown at the end of the Nier raids. They talk about maybe getting some new items. Like Yoko Taro's like, you know, I wouldn't be against doing like a new minion or a new mount, like the flight units or the pods. And even Yoshi P said the pod shouldn't be too hard to do, but the flight unit might be a little bit tougher. So we'll see. You know, why was it called Dark Apocalypse? How did they land on that title? What would have happened if the Warrior of Light would have lost? And he says they don't really plan for that. They just think about how they're going to win. And then there's like how they develop the music with the fights and the collaborations between the music and stuff. There was a bug in Copy Factory, the whole dragon summoning thing with the Dark Knight quest. He said that was planned. He also said at the beginning of this interview he was a liar, and don't listen to anything he says, but a liar would also lie about being a liar, so who knows. He says he likes to kill twins, parents, and lovers in stories. He said twins for character development, twins are like a 2-for-1 deal. You just develop them both at the same time, and bam, you got two whole characters that people care about, and then you kill one off. It's money. That's what he said. Then he talked about how the weekly quests were in a build-up to a big finale. Yeah, we noticed. Don't worry, you didn't need to clarify on that one. Also, how the Alliance raid felt shorter than the previous Alliance raids. Weird. And then there's just stuff about like the different models, the cutscenes, making fun of the outfit I showed you Foxlon was wearing earlier. They talked a little bit about the testing for the raids and how Yoko Taro was dead all the time, so he felt like he was useless in the testing process. He even wanted the hallway sequence in the second raid in Puppet's bunker to wipe everyone if anyone touched a ball. Yikes. The man's dying over and over again in the test phase. He's like, I think we should kill everyone if anyone touches an orb here. And Yoshi feels like, no, we're not doing that. we're not doing that. He said they're never going to clarify any of the mysteries that were left in the story, that this is just something that he generally does, and it's not going to change. He then speaks about like apparently a really graphic poem that like inspired something for him, so much so that they couldn't even translate it because it's actually like so offensive that you could get like banned on Discord for like the language involved in what he was talking about. And so they said if you want to look it up, look up Tanikawa Shintaro. Yoko Taro recommends Nijoku Konen no Koduko if you're interested in reading up on the poems. The above, oh no, that's different than the controversial poem. The controversial poem is by Tanaka Shintaro. So If you want to apparently read something about very graphic materials involving sexism and death, yeah, go right ahead, I suppose. But then Yoko Taro proved he was a bro. Because Yoko Taro said that he wants to be a scenario writer for Final Fantasy 16. He's like, I'm going to apply to be a scenario writer. And Yoshi P went, we're actually done with the scenario and almost done with all the English voice acting for 16. Like, almost completely done with the recording process. And Yoko Taro goes, it was my hidden mission to get 16 leaks. I've done my job. Legit exactly what he did. So, and then he also said Yoshi P said there won't be anything about 16 at TGS, and then that was the end of it. So I'm going to assume State of Plays are holding it hostage, or it'll be at Gamescom, or we'll just get it in more live letters. Just keep announcing it in live letters. Who cares, right? Just do it. Then they were doing the outros. This was where it was basically all wrapping up. Yoko Taro confirmed that Yosuke Saito and Yoko Taro confirmed that they are working on a new game. It's not a smartphone game. It's a flip phone game. No. He was trolling. They're working on a new game. Yosuke Saito and Yoko Taro. So that's all they said, though. Then they confirmed. Then we got some more announcements. The next letter from the producer live is mid-September, and then another one will also be early November. The one mid-September is the combat one. This is where we will see the job action trailer. This is where we will see the new skills being shown off. This is where we'll likely see things about new PvP. They mentioned that earlier, that an upcoming live letter would have more details. I'm assuming that will be included in the battle-related stuff, because PvP, last I checked, is battle-related. And then there'll be another one in November to cover up any details, probably things like Island Sanctuary or any other tangential features that people might be wondering about. That will be in November. So it's not that long of a wait for job action stuff. I thought it was going to be in October, but I also didn't think the benchmark was going to be in a day from when I'm recording this. So goes to show what I know. Reminder that there will be the benchmark, but they're also going to be doing a screenshot contest on social media, it looks like. And you can submit either your male VR character or your benchmark scores. The Lodestone will have details on that. They reminded people there's a 14-day free login campaign until Monday, August 23rd. I was going to make a separate video about that. Death Unto Dawn pre-orders the new soundtrack. They showed the minion. It will be a wind-up Lena for that minion. A reminder about the Eorzea Collection 2021. They're also doing Final Fantasy 14 Darumas, which looked pretty good, I'm not going to lie. No Yoko Taro Daruma, unfortunately. They're doing another Lawson's collaboration, where they're doing the light and dark crystal flavor Karaage. And that's pretty much the end of it. Yoshi P says, thanks for the live letter. Yoshi P, actually, there was one detail I skipped over. Yoshi P did say they're actually doing actually, this was in the intro. There's actually a multi-million-dollar infrastructure upgrades that they're doing to the servers to accommodate for the increase in popularity as of late. It will not be ready by 6.0, very similar to the OCE servers. It will come sometime after that. So just a few outgoing comments here. Yosuke Saito says that he really enjoyed doing the collaboration. Yoko Taro said that his mobile game Reincarnation is getting an ending. And then everything he said today was a lie, so don't listen to him. And then Yoshi P says that, they've got all the data they need for 6.0. Enjoy the benchmark. Can't wait for September to show you some new stuff, and I can't wait. And thank you for tuning in today. And that was the end of the letter from the producer live. Wow. That was very, very, very insightful. Now, if I'm not misremembering, I think that one of the other Discords translated something that I may have skipped over that I seem to be forgetting, but I can't remember exactly what it was. It was like one little change in dialogue, one little difference in the way that things were actually said, but I don't remember what it actually was. Maybe my Twitch chat has it right here. Maybe if I do that. But honestly, the 16 stuff for me was the most exciting. 16 stuff and the benchmark. So those were the things that were most exciting for me in particular, but we didn't expect much out of this live letter in the first place. So the fact that we got what we did, I was very grateful for. I'm waiting to see if my Twitch chat has the thing. Oh, that's what it was. That 16, they wanted Final Fantasy 16 to be in a playable state for TGS, but they wouldn't have it ready in time. That's exciting. That was on the Balance Discord. Thank you. That's exciting. And I can't wait. Maybe we'll have a demo before the end of the year. One can hope. But anyway, that's going to be a wrap for our live letter recap for, what is this, letter from the producer live number 65 or special live letter, whatever. I think it's just live letter special from the 14-hour broadcast or whatever it is. Regardless, though, it's late for me and I still have one more video to record, so I'm going to wrap this one up. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and stay tuned. We'll be covering any news information. Of course, I'm releasing a whole bunch of stuff on 14, and I've got some other video content planned over the next several weeks, months, yada, yada, yada. You're tired of hearing me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.